There are many reasons why an employee has performance issues at work. Someone's performance can be affected by their ability and motivation. In this course on diagnosing performance issues, you will learn how to identify the causes of poor performance and how to set expectations for individuals and teams. Low motivation can lead to poor performance. People often feel unmotivated when they feel there's no opportunity for them to get promoted or advance their career, even after putting in the effort. They may also find the nature of their work to be boring, limited, or unsatisfying. Maybe they feel their superior is biased against them, doesn't trust them, or micromanages them more than others. An employee can also perform poorly when they're stressed about the working environment or their situation at home. As an employee spends significant amounts of time in a toxic or inhospitable work environment, their productivity tends to drop. For specific projects, they may feel stress from having to handle tight deadlines or limited resources without any support. All these factors can lower employee motivation, further impacting their overall performance. Let's say that Sandy is a poor performer. The first step to identify the causes of her poor performance is to consider all the possible reasons that relate to Sandy's ability and motivation. Does Sandy have the right skills and knowledge for her job? Does she understand what's expected of her to perform well? Does she know which areas are most important? Does she know how tasks need to be prioritized? As a manager or team leader, you can also ask yourself whether you might have done something to cause Sandy's poor performance, especially in the way you manage and support her. The next step is to talk to other people who have worked with Sandy, such as a previous superior or other team members. This will help you form a more objective view of what's happening with Sandy. It's best to be careful and approach only those people you can trust to keep the matter confidential, since you don't want to aggravate the situation further. For example, you can ask general questions like, "How did you find it working with Sandy during the project?" If the person is vague when answering such open-ended questions, you can follow up by asking for their opinion of Sandy's ability and motivation during that particular project. After you've thought through the possible causes and listened to other people's opinions of her, it's time to speak to Sandy directly. Start with an open-ended question, like asking her to evaluate her own performance in terms of her ability and motivation during her last project. That'll keep her from feeling threatened or defensive and will prompt her to assess her performance more objectively. Sometimes this self-reflection is the best approach to uncovering the root cause of a problem. If a general approach doesn't get Sandy to reflect on herself objectively, then describe your own observations of her performance. Then ask her what happened. For example, you can say, "I asked you to submit the report by yesterday, but I haven't received it. What happened? Is everything all right?" If Sandy has been missing deadlines repeatedly, you can also say something like, "I notice you've been behind on several deadlines. What's been happening? Is there any support I can offer to help you meet your deadlines?" That approach signals to Sandy that you've noticed her missing deadlines, that you're going to hold her accountable for it, and that you want to hear her explanation. Offer to brainstorm with her by asking her what else you could have done to support her performance. You might discover the source of the problem is that the deadlines weren't clearly set, that she didn't have the necessary resources for the job, or that she's setting the wrong priorities for herself. By following these steps, you can identify the root causes of poor performance among your team members and start working to fix them.